Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are still having a really good season with Forest Green Rovers, but I start this episode quite sad with what's about to unfold. Hello and welcome back to part 15 of our Zero to Hero series with Forest Green Rovers, where today we're going to play through a couple more matches and we're going to be doing some transfers in January. And yeah, we're starting this episode off on a little bit of a sad note. If you've been watching it since the start, I think Vangelis was one of my first signings. It was one of the players that I went out and actively searched for because he come up on a scouting report when I was at Taunton. We're about to accept an offer for him to head over to West Brom, who I believe are in the Championship. They are currently first in the Championship, so he's probably eyeing this up as realistically a move to the Premier League in 6 months. We're going to receive £1 million for him. If we have a look, we originally paid 400,000 for him. He's had a pretty good season so far this season, really. 19 appearances, 3 goals, 4 assists, 2 player of matches, and a 6.98 rating. That average rating has actually dropped a little bit in the last few matches. I think just because these transfer negotiations have been dragging on for about 3 weeks now, and his performance has slowly dropped, which I think his head's probably not here. The main reason we're having to sell him, and we've had to whack him on a transfer list, we really want to keep him, but his contract expires at the end of the season, and he literally came to us and said he had no interest in renewing his contract. He wouldn't be doing it, and he would be leaving at the end of the season, and we've kind of had to cash in on him. We don't want to. He's got a lot of potential. He's got potential to be a Championship standard player. He's been really good for us. But yeah, we're going to have to say goodbye to Vangelis at the start of this episode. We'll just accept that one. Make a parting comment to Vangelis. Good luck with the next step of your career. We're disappointed to lose you, but you've earned this chance. It's a very sad start to this episode. This is not how I want to be starting episodes. And there he goes. Off he heads to West Brom in the Championship. We've also just received this I'm okay with. We can see the transfer value for Baker Boeti is 1.7 million, but I think that's probably what it was at the start of the season when we put him on the transfer list. He's played 3 appearances for us this season, and all of them we've been off the sub bench. We paid £90,000 for him last season. We look like we're about to accept a bid for a fee of 825,000 with 600,000 pound of that up front and percentage of profit from next sale. Yes, thank you very much. We will absolutely take that for Baker Boeti, and then we will just offer him out to some clubs at let's say 900,000, and maybe we get it all up front, which would be quite nice as well. There is some slightly better news of stuff going on at the club, and that is that we have brought in some more players. Some other players have left as well. Let's just go through everything that's happened in the transfer market, because it's been a bit of a mad one already. Let's start right at the start. Fabio Tavares has gone over to Plymouth. He's never really fit in. He's made 16 appearances for the club. We are making a £5,000 loss on him by selling him to Plymouth, but he was just taking up wage budget and basically being a pain and moaning. The one that is a little bit of a loss, Luke McGee. He's headed over to Ross County in Scotland for £55,000. But again, he'd only made 1 appearance this season, and that was due to Sol Bryan being injured. So it made sense to cash in on him, and he did come to us and say he wanted to leave and pursue new challenges at this point in his career. So fair enough. Charlie Wiggett has also left. Again, we've made a little bit of a loss on him, but it was, I think, the right decision to cash in on him. So we're having a look at his report. It's not great. I mean, he's showing up a little bit of potential ability here, but when he was at the club, he was 2.5 star, and it just wasn't worth having him. He has gone over to Swindon. I feel really sorry for the lad. I feel like I've abused him by sending him to Swindon. Callum McDonald, another player who's also left. Again, a little bit of a loss on him, but he's only made 4 appearances this season. All of those have been off the bench. He wasn't really part of the team. We've just sort of cashed in on all these players. And Sean Robertson, another one who I feel like we've abused a little bit, because we have sent him to Grimsby. We got £65,000 for him. His contract was up at the end of the season. We've just kind of cashed in. And now the £1 million that we've just received for Vangelis. As you can see at the moment, we've got a net transfer spend this season of £100,000. I feel like we're doing quite well. We have brought in some more players as well. So the first of those to replace Sean Robertson over on the right is a Lewis Payne. We have paid a bit of money for him. I know we haven't. He was pretty cheap, £54,000. He's come on. He's made one sub appearance so far and got a 7.1 rating. But again, he's not going to set the world alight, but he is definitely, I think, an upgrade on Sean Robinson. So he comes in to give us a bit more depth at right back. We've then brought in, actually we'll leave him till last, we've brought in a replacement for McGee, which is a backup goalkeeper, Charlie Setford. He's currently 22 years old and English, 2.5 stars current ability, 4.5 stars potential ability. If we're having a look at that, he's currently a League 2 player. He could be a Championship player. He has more potential than Sol Bryan. We got him for £31,000. He was over at Ajax. I'm guessing because that's young Ajax. Is young Ajax like the youth team? I don't really know how Dutch football works. I will admit that. He's only made one appearance there. He was previously, as we can see, on loan at Leyton Orient in League 2 last season. Didn't perform fantastically there. I'm just looking at this as well and seeing as Ajax and young Ajax. So young Ajax is obviously their kind of youth development team. But Charlie Setford coming in, I think £31,000 for him is fully reasonable. And then we've just spent £500,000 because we knew that Vangelis was leaving. We kind of rushed to bring someone in. Logan Brigg is 21 years old, English. He can play all across here and he offers us the same coverage through the centre that Vangelis did over in the Mazzala role and as an attacking midfielder through the centre should we need him. He has just had in the league quite a good debut, I think you'll agree. 1 appearance, 2 goals and an assist with a 9.2 rating. We have not seen that good a debut since Oliver Iro made his debut for the club and scored 4 goals. This man could go far. Having a look at his report, he's another one with League 1 current and potential to be Championship standard. We actually picked him up from Stockport, who are currently in League 2. And not doing very well in it. No, they're 5th. I thought, for some reason, they were at the bottom of our league. Turns out they're in the league below, so he's making a step up. I'm sure he's very, very happy to do so. Looks like in real life right this second, he is actually at Leicester. He also doesn't have a face, but we're going to ignore that completely. We have also potentially got another little bit of depth coming in. Daniel Jones, who's another midfielder or striker. For some reason, he can't play as a central attacking midfielder, but he can play as a midfielder or a striker. He's not sure which one he wants to be. He's currently at Liverpool. He's had some loan spells. Again, if we're having a look at his report, he's League 1 standard player with a potential to be Championship. So I think spending £114,000, I think it is, we're spending him something close to that, is a really, really good deal. We'll bring him in. The reason as well we're trying to shove players out of the door is because I am very aware we can increase this, and I'm kind of hoping if we go and approach Blackburn, we might get Paul Robertson on a permanent deal. If we have a look at him at the moment, 22 appearances and 3 sub appearances, 19 goals so far this season. He's the only player in double figures. I've just realised as well, I mean, I've got some players unavailable, but we have not got the biggest squad at all at the moment. There are some players injured like Steve Sedon, Fagan Walcott. I think Sukdi's out on international duty as well. But that is not a very big squad. And it's a very young squad as well. If you're having a look at it like this, these players, so you get like to here, and then everyone is under the age of 22. We actually have this problem in the league. I don't know how I would actually show you. Is there a way? Yeah, registration. So if we went on here for the Sky Bet League 1 and we just auto-select it with everyone available, blah, 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 blah. Let's get rid of the unavailable a second. We just auto-select this. We haven't actually got enough players to register. So we've got a minimum squad size of 15. We can only register 10 players. And that's because you don't register goalkeepers, but all of these players are under 21. And because of that, it doesn't register them. So we just have to take a bunch of under 21 players in order to have enough players to actually register a team, because our team is so young. Anyway, enough of that. Let's have a quick look at the schedule. The schedule, as you can see, is still a little bit of a weird one. The last episode we played against Bristol City and we played against Wickham in the Papa John's Nonsense Trophy. But we then lost to Wickham 3-1 in the league and to Preston 1-0. Since then, we're on a 5-match unbeaten one. It's a 2-1 win against Birmingham. We beat Bristol City and Rotherham 1-0, both of who were pretty high up the league, so that was good. Drew 1-1 with Peterborough, and we've just absolutely thumped Chesterfield 6-1. This was Logan Briggs' debut, so Paul Robertson got 4, Logan Briggs got 2 goals and an assist in this, which is fantastic. I've just realised as well that Robertson was the man who gave Briggs both his assists, so they've linked up really, really well so far. And long may it continue. I guess the only other thing to kind of show you guys, oh, it's no longer there. A couple of days ago, it had wanted, and there were some teams having a look at us, and it was Everton and Coventry. So Everton in the Premier League, Coventry in the Championship. I think Everton, although they're 17th, it probably would be a job we would have to, if they came into us, take into serious consideration, because I think they'd pay us a lot more than we're currently on as a Premier League club. Definitely some interesting jobs starting to come up. But at the moment, I am very, very committed to and very happy at Forest Green Rovers. So I have no desire to be going fiddling around, applying for jobs. If one comes up and it is a substantial pay rise or a substantial jump in league, then absolutely we will go and have a look at it. For now, though, we need to get over to our first match of the day, and that is against Chelsea under-21s in the Papa John's Nonsense Mickey Mouse whatchamacallit trophy. Just pointing out very quickly before we get to that match as well, that £1 million for Vangelis, he was both our first record transfer fee in this save and also our record transfer fee received. I'm really going to miss him. Right, so this is going to be our lineup for the match against Chelsea. We've got Solbrine in goal, back four of Smith, Pickles, Matteson and Daly Campbell. We've then got Jones and Kanate in midfield. Kabaya over on the left, Konechny through the middle, McDonald on the right and Robertson up front. It's a bit of an interesting one. We haven't got sort of Fagan Walcott. Actually, we need to put Nightingale in here. I know he's tired, but he's suspended for the next match. We've also got our 2 new boys. So we've got Fagan Walcott is injured. Steve Sedon is injured. Lewis Payne is cup tied. So our new right back's cup tied. Logan Briggs, our new midfielder we just looked at, is cup tied. And Suckdy's on international duty. So we are really struggling for depth. I mean, if we have a run in this cup here and we manage to beat Chelsea, we are really, really going to struggle for the rest of the season, because players that are coming in are cup tied because they've already played games, because this tends to be, you know, the cup where you rotate players, and we're just going to really, really struggle. I do want to add as well here, not yet, I wanted to have a look at what the Chelsea team looks like, because I do know quite a lot of their youth players, and I kind of wonder what sort of team they're playing. Kanate here, through to Kabaya though, early, I was going to say it's an early chance on goal. Kabaya got there before I could say it. We've whipped that one back into the box, and it is going out for a corner. If we can get a win here against an under-21s Chelsea team, I think that is pretty good going, because Chelsea have some fantastic youth development. Corner there comes to nothing. It's back out to Kanate. McDonald now in the box, tries to get it crossed again, and it is just put out for a corner. I say that there's probably no point me looking at this Chelsea team, because we're so far in the future. We're in the year 12. We're now in 2027 in game. I'm assuming a lot of the players that I know that are currently under 21 aren't going to be under 21 anymore. They do have a load of greyed out players on the bench. That's quite promising for us. Cross there, looking for Robertson, is nodded away. And now Martinelli for Chelsea, bringing this one down. Dixon for Chelsea has found himself just bags and bags of space there, but puts his shot fairly wide and doesn't give Solbrine very much to think about. So we are looking all right here. I do think, you know, the moment you're playing against Premier League teams, they do have the buying power to just sort of buy up a youth team and end up with loads of good players. I mean, going back to Chelsea, if you think over the years how many players they've had come through their youth ranks that they've just ended up selling, and they've turned into world-class players, but they just have so many youth players that they don't know what to do with them, but they've got the money, so we have player number 6 and player number 14, please. Lewis Nightingale already looks like he's given everything and we should think about changes. I mean, he's just going to have to play the first half then, and we're going to have to take him off. The whole point of playing him today was purely because, like I said, he's suspended for the next game. So we may as well, we know he's getting a rest anyway. We may as well give him a bit of game time here and rest players that are definitely going to have to play the next game, because he's not going to be available and Suckdy's still out on international duty, which kind of leaves us... Oh, Smith, that was an awful touch. It kind of leaves us Hackney and Jones and potentially Kanate to play in midfield. Briggs hopefully will be back by then. Maybe we've brought in the new boy from Liverpool as well, so we might have more depth by the next game than I think we do currently. But Nightingale substituted off anyway, and now we have Jones on, who has already got a yellow card 4 minutes after being brought on. We love that. We rate that highly. He's in an aggressive mood. He's still annoyed that Luke McGee has left the club, even though Luke McGee literally has had no playing time this season. Robertson is through on goal here. Robertson is through on goal. Robertson is drawn a save. I feel like he could have probably done a little bit better than that, especially when he's been in the sort of form he's been in, scoring goals for fun. But never mind, Kanate whipping this one into the near post. It is just nodded away. I was going to say Chelsea go on a counter-attack. I assume they don't, and it fizzles to nothing. They do have a free kick on the edge of the area. That one is nodded away by one of our defenders, and now Kabaya going on a solo run and basically being tackled by Jones, our own player, who does there try and play that one through to Robertson. It's a little bit too far ahead of him, and the goalkeeper just going to launch that one forward for Pickles to deal with. Daly Campbell now holding this one up. Jones playing as the deep line playmaker today over to Kabaya. Kanate now looking for Smith out on the left. Please don't injure Smith. We don't have any other left backs available at the moment. He is literally the only one. Kabaya, Kanate now. Can we get a shot off? Jones, he's not going to look for a shot. Kabaya goes down in the area though. I don't know if that was a push or what it was. And now we are going to have a penalty. It is going to be Jones to take said penalty to put us 1-0 up, and it's saved. That just about sums up how today's episode is going to go, I think. Vangelis has been sold. The only thing that makes this episode okay now is if we get a bag of cash for Baker Boati as well, and we're able to go to Blackburn, make a bid for Paul Robertson and bring him in permanently, and that kind of stops me worrying about next season when we're going to have no striker. I mean, we've got Oliver Iro, but in all honesty, he's not really done a lot this season, so I don't think we can rely on him next season. I think he's good as a squad depth sort of player, but I definitely don't think Oliver Iro anymore is the striker that can lead the line, which is a shame because he was so good last season, but he just hasn't really dealt with the step up, unfortunately. Right, we do need to make some substitutions here. Konechny can come off, Hackney can come on, and we'll just switch those guys around there. Danny Smith is tired, but I have no one to bring on for him. Daly Campbell is tired, but we have no one to bring on for him. So Finney McDonald can come off, and Romari Ford can come on, and then Paul Robertson's looking tired, so Oliver Iro is going to come on for him. That man who we just said wasn't really good enough, we're going to bring him on anyway, just because we don't want to break Paul Robertson. And I would rather we lose in this game. I know I've still got a substitution to make. I don't really know where we make it. Kanate with a free kick. Can we just nick a goal here? That would have been lovely. Otherwise, we're going to have to go through the tedious penalty animations. I don't like penalties in real life. In FM, I absolutely hate them. They just take so long. They're not even too bad when you play it, but when you're trying to narrate penalties on YouTube, they're an absolute nightmare. They just take too long. That's why I always fast forward it. If you've ever seen a penalty shootout on this channel before, you'll instantly see me go up in that top right corner and just notch up the speed a bit, because it takes an age. Oliver Iro, can he hold this one up and find someone? He can. He holds it up long enough, but only long enough to get tackled. And now Chelsea are through on goal. Ooh, we have got lucky there. Sol Bryan managing to keep hold of his clean sheet via the post, the crossbar, and the goal line. But we have managed to keep it 0-0. I mean, we're going to go to a penalty shootout, and our best penalty taker has already missed a penalty in this game. So I don't think we go into this full of confidence, really. We kind of just stagger into it and hope for the best. And Chelsea here taking their time over this free kick, just happy to settle for penalties against Forest Green Rovers. I know it's the under-21s Chelsea team, but this does still seem like madness. And also, could you take literally any longer to take that free kick? I'm all for time management, blah, blah, blah. We're just going to notch this up a little bit so it goes a little bit faster. Chelsea with the first penalty then. Sol Bryan has saved it. Right, Jones, you can redeem yourself here. Jones, score this one. Jones does score the more important penalty in the penalty shootout. Sol Bryan, can you make yourself a hero? Get another save. Oh my God, he has. Hold on. Hold on. This penalty shootout suddenly got significantly more interesting. Sol Bryan with 2 saves so far. Hackney misses his penalty and hits the post. It's still 2-1 to us. What a penalty shootout so far. Chelsea with their 3rd penalty. I mean, it's straight at Sol Bryan, who's now saved 3 of 3 penalties. Kanate with our 3rd. He converts his. We are currently 3-0 up, which means if Sol Bryan can save this one, then we do go through and Chelsea don't score any of their penalties. Do they not practice penalties in the youth teams at Chelsea? Apparently not. He hasn't managed to save this one. Right, does that mean, though, if we score our next one? Maths. If we score our next one, then we go through. And it is going to be Smith, our on-loan left-back, who is going to be taking this penalty. Stepping up, full of composure. And he does put it in the back of the net. And we have gone through into the next round. The one cup I don't want a cup run in is the one we're getting a cup run in. Fine. Oh, look at who we could face. Newcastle under-21s, Man United under-21. Oh, my goodness. I mean, there's no point even having a run in this because it doesn't provide any money because the stadiums are literally empty. Apparently, we're also getting Preston, though, in the quarterfinals. Preston, who are currently 1st, which I didn't actually show you guys. Preston are 1st in the league. You can see here we are 2nd, but Preston do have 2 games in hand. We're not comfortably 2nd. We're 4 points ahead of Crewe, so we're still good for an automatic promotion, which I think in a first season would be absolutely magnificent. But Preston are beginning to run away with it a little bit, and apparently now we're going to be facing them in the quarter-final of the EFL Trophy as well. I don't think I'm going to be coming back and showing that on YouTube because realistically, are we all that interested in that trophy? Anyway, we are going to go and have a look now at the match against Lincoln. They are 18th in the league. We might have some more transfers done by then. Daniel Jones might have arrived at the club. We'll have a look in a minute. It's in a few days' time, 6 days' time to be exact. I'll be back in a second. So we have got new boy Daniel Jones arrived at the club from Liverpool. Was it Liverpool? It was Liverpool. 215,000 to bring him to the club. He's a 3-star current ability, 4 maybe 5-star potential ability, a midfielder. Best played as a central midfielder on attack, which we don't play with. So realistically, he'd either play as the Mazzala, which he can cover there, I feel reasonably well, or he can cover as the deep lying playmaker. His tackling's not great, but his first touch is pretty decent. His passing is pretty decent. And he can cover up front as well. Again, we play with an advanced forward, and maybe his physicals aren't quite there, or his dribbling, or his finishing. But he'll do. He's a current Welsh under-21 international as well. Today, he's going to be starting on the bench for us. This is going to be our lineup. It's Sol Bryan in goal, Smith, Mattison, Fagan, Walcott and Daly Campbell as our back four, Callum Jones and Briggs in midfield, Bigotto over on the left, Konechny through the centre with McDonald on the right and Robertson up front. As we can see, Daniel Jones, Lewis Payne, our new signings, both on the bench today, as is Kanate, who is still asking to leave because of his work permit, and literally no one will make a bid for him. Like I don't think I could pay another team to take him at this point. I'm pretty sure I could go to a foreign team and go, I'll give you 100,000 to take him, and they just wouldn't. And everyone's moaning about his wage being too high, which is ridiculous because it's like £1,300, but no one will touch him. The only people who are interested in are English clubs, and they're all being deterred by the fact that he has no work permit, and the whole reason he wants to leave us is because he doesn't have a work permit, or he won't be able to get a work permit at the end of this season. So the whole Canase situation is just a mess, and he isn't playing as a result unless we absolutely need him, which today, with Nightingale suspended, this is still on fast, Nightingale suspended, and Suckdy away on international duty, he is kind of needed just as a substitute today. Briggs has been tackled there. I really hope that Briggs shows you what he did in that first match, because he was so good. McDonald here playing this one into Robertson, back to McDonald again, back through to Robertson. It's a lovely 1-2, and he does have a shot, and it's pretty much cleared off of the line away by Lincoln. We don't quite manage to steal the goal there. Not quite, but it feels like it's coming. Doesn't feel like it's coming from Lincoln, because that was not a very good shot. Briggs has just got a yellow card. We're just telling him to ease off those tackles. When I said I want you to see what he can do, I want you to see him score some goals, get some assists, all of that lovely stuff, and not get a red card the first time you see him on YouTube. Matteson hitting this one out wide to Daly Campbell. I have just noticed Bigotto has got an injury, so we're going to have to deal with that at the end of this highlight. Daly Campbell there, messing around far too much on the ball, and has given it away now for Lincoln to launch a counter-attack. But Konechny coming back, dropping back from his central attacking midfielder duties to head that one and launch us on a counter-attack of our own. Daly Campbell into Robertson, who smashes that one against the crossbar. That's very, very unlucky. Bigotto's going to have to come off then. And I guess we bring on Kabaya over on that left-hand side. Is probably, I'd say, the most appropriate person we could put over there. We could put Briggs over there as well, because he can play there. And I think he's better off suited through the middle as the Mazzala, or at least that's what his first match indicated. Maybe it was just a really good debut, and now we'll never, ever notice him again because he won't do anything. It's entirely possible. I hope it's not the case, but it is entirely possible, and we are not really doing a lot in this match. We've had flashes of brilliance, like that shot from Robertson, and then not a lot surrounding that. That ball's just been launched very far forward. Fagan Walcott just going to sweep that one up forward to McDonald now. He's going to go on a little bit of a run, looking for Robertson, who holds it up, passes it into Briggs, and Briggs is brought down on the box. That's a little bit annoying, just because I would have quite liked to have seen Briggs score a goal. Lincoln give away a penalty though, and receive a red card for their defender. And it is going to be Callum Jones for the third time in this episode stepping up to take a penalty. He scored 2 of 3 so far. He's on a 66.66% converted, which is probably not great, but it's done the job here against Lincoln, sending the goalkeeper the wrong way to put us 1-0 up. We're pretty good value for it, even if we haven't done that well in this match. Robertson not doing exactly fantastic today. A lot of our players just sort of muddling through in terms of average rating, in terms of their rating today, rather than being outstanding. Daly Campbell, though, bringing the ball forward, using all of his power, once again giving it away. He does that way too much, where he'll just overcommit himself and just keep going and going and going. And he's kind of beat one player, beat the second player, and then he tries to beat the third one, and he just can't beat the third one. And it is a little bit get across in the box, lad. Briggs passing that one forward to McDonald. That was a beautiful pass, looking for the man who I just said hadn't done a lot in this match, Paul Robertson. That one swung in by McDonald. Another assist for McDonald, another goal, the 20th of the season for Robertson. A Robertson who we have now made a bid for, and we're waiting to see if it's something we can actually push through, because it's kind of structured in a way that hopefully we can. But with stuff like loyalty bonus, it might take us over our actual transfer budget. So I need to see whether it can go through or not. Daniel Jones is going to come on for Callum Jones. I've just noticed we're back to having 2 Joneses. We've now got Daniel and Callum. Last season it was James Jones. We just like Jones at Forest Green Rovers, apparently. We must always have at least 1 Jones at the club. But just confirm that one just because I want to have a little bit of a look at him. And this seems like as good a time as any when we are 2 goals to the good and they are player down. Daniel Jones is the man actually taking the corner here, swings it in, doesn't find anyone. Kabaya has picked it up. And again, just done too much of it and given it away. Fagan Walcott cutting that one straight out now. McDonald into the box and just about manages to squeeze in a goal there. I mean, it is literally the epitome of just about squeezing it in for a goal. He has somehow managed to get it in the back of the net. Daniel Jones into McDonald, meaning Daniel Jones is going to get an assist on his debut. I kind of think McDonald was actually tackled as he shot then. It kind of did a weird reboundy thing. But he's managed to get it in the back of the net. It means Daniel Jones has got an assist on his debut. Our new signings so far are doing pretty well. And talking of new signings, Daley Campbell's going to come off just so we can put Lewis Payne on. Matteson looks utterly shattered, so Pickles is going to come on for him. And Fagan Walcott probably needs to come off as well. But I don't really have anyone to bring on for him, so we're just going to ignore that. And we'll bring Steve Sedon on for Smith as we just try and bring Sedon back into the side after his injuries. Just come back today, which is why he hasn't started. And we've kind of been lucky there that with the sale of McDonald, that Smith has stayed fit all the way through this. I definitely think, oh, Robertson through on goal. Robertson through on goal. Robertson scored again. 22nd goal of the season. And is that his hat-trick? No, it's his second. I wasn't sure if that was his hat-trick or not. Who scored the other? Who scored our goals? Callum Jones, Robertson. Oh, yeah, McDonald scored that other one. Robertson's gets his second, though. So it was a hat-trick in the last league match, 2 in this one so far. You can see why we're trying to sign him. He's definitely a very, very important part of this team. Hopefully that's a deal we can push through. And going back to what I was saying, I do think as well that come deadline day, we might have to look at maybe bringing a couple of loans in. I mean, if we do purchase Robertson, then we'll only have the one loanee at the club, which will be Smith over at left back. So it's something that we probably need to have a look at just to give ourselves a little bit more depth. For now, though, I'm going to play through the rest of the transfer window. We'll come back down here somewhere. We'll kind of see where it looks important. It probably is the Swindon match. Remember when they were first in this league when we last played them? So maybe Portsmouth and Swindon in February, which is about a month away, I think is probably quite a good place for us to come back. Hopefully, got some new signings, we're top of the league, and all is right in the world again. What a time to be alive. If you have enjoyed today's episode, though, of course, please do drop a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And thank you for watching.